Welcome to this second video of the course ChatGPT Opportunity and Challenge for Teaching. This second video, we are going to cover the basics of what an LLM is and why a LLM or large language model, which is what ChatGPT is important in education. I'm Marc Allier and let's go. First of all, let me tell you about the hype cycle of Gartner. Gartner is a company, it's a consulting company that makes reports, and at some point in time they devised this curve when they plot the natural path of every new technology with regard to the hype, to the attention that this technology inspires with the general public, the consumers and the investors in this technology. This curve, it starts with an innovation trigger, something is invented, a new idea comes up, or it's available because of other technologies that enable it, and then it comes up in attention, in hype, to the peak of inflated expectations, and then there's this truth of disillusionment where we lose the illusion. It's not hot anymore, it's not as sexy, or it's not as good as we expected, and then there's this slope of enlightenment that brings to the plateau of productivity. Gartner every year is all the time throwing out these diagrams where they plot different new technologies in different fields. Like for instance, in 2020 they gave us this plot for what's coming in artificial intelligence in 2020, and ChatGPT is not there. ChatGPT is not there. Gartner wasn't looking, or Gartner wasn't looking, or it was not important, it was not hype around ChatGPT or the technology that enables ChatGPT. If we look into documents, we can find that yes, in 2020 this company was talking about generative AI, which is the field where ChatGPT is, but it's not even in the plot. 2 years later, generative AI goes way up here in the hype of inflated expectations, and it's not because of ChatGPT, because other technologies like DALI or Stable Diffusion or Midjourney, large language generative technologies that allow us to create images that do not exist given a certain prompt, and they became really hot in 2020, and right now in 2023 it's almost impossible to know if an image has been really taken by a digital camera or drawn by an artist, or it's something that somebody has prompted. So please look at Midjourney and Stable Diffusion. So somebody would say, okay, this is going to fall down, and that ChatGPT is for sure going to fall down, but I like to plot this hype diagram in conjunction with another diagram, which is the adoption of certain technologies, how the society uses the technology or not. And when we go through the peak of inflated expectation, just the innovations and the early adopters are using these technologies. For instance, 2 years ago, NFTs were all the rage, but now they are nowhere to be seen, and there's this chasm that maybe some technologies are going to fall here and to never come back. Maybe NFTs are going to go back to the right, maybe they're going to fall into the chasm. Where is ChatGPT? Is going to be something that doesn't matter in 2 years, we're not going to talk about it, or is something that's it's here to stay and we're going to keep using it? And when I'm talking about ChatGPT is just one of a lot of large language models that generate text and things for us. So let's analyze the trends to see who is using ChatGPT and how and why. So as you know, there's this tool that Google provides that tells us how many people are searching for a certain term. This is called Google Trends, and I yeah, like to do these things. For instance, ChatGPT is based on one technology that's called GPT-3s, generative pre-trained transformer. And if you look at the diagram during 2022, comparing Ferrari and GPT-3, and nobody is looking at ChatGPT comparatively. Ferrari is a fairly well-known concept and goes up and down, but it doesn't move that much. And then we introduce ChatGPT in the mix, and in 2022 and in the late 2022, ChatGPT doesn't exist until the end of November, but as soon as it's created, rapidly overtakes Ferrari and goes way up here. How up is going to go? Okay, let's put something else in the mix. These are data from the beginning of February 2022. And for instance, in January 2022, the singer Shakira was really famous because she, through this song about her ex-husband and his new bride, and it was really famous because of the song, and everybody was talking about her. So Shakira was really popular, but ChatGPT was showing a trend compared to something that was right up there in popular culture. This is how it was going. How is it going right now? Okay, let's look at it. So Shakira is way back. She will go up again. She's a famous singer. She's great, but ChatGPT is going up, up, up. No, almost nobody's talking about Shakira until she releases a new song or something like that, and ChatGPT is way up here. It's way up here. So let's think about education. What is this meaning? So if we look at this trend and we remember this graphic here, all the early majority clearly has adopted ChatGPT or the large language models, and there's no way that these technologies are going to fall into the chasm. We are right now in the slope of enlightenment, and maybe new technologies are going to replace it, and the name ChatGPT maybe is going away, but large language models are here to stay, and it's important to know what they're doing. Okay, let's do this trend analysis and education. So I made this plot comparing ChatGPT and Minecraft. Minecraft is a video game that has fairly a lot of educational uses, but we can see that Minecraft is something very popular in the order of popularity of ChatGPT. But it's interesting that we have this descent here of ChatGPT. What's going on here? What's going on here? Especially when we come here in July, we see that, okay, in Spain we can see that suddenly in June, July, Minecraft is going up and ChatGPT is going down. And maybe we can say no, and this is going in the United States, and this is this is for Spain, where Minecraft is not so popular. But this is worldwide. Looks like ChatGPT is not feeling it, but in the United States, ChatGPT is going down, and in Spain especially it's going really down. What's going on? What happens here? What happens at the end of May, beginning of June? Well, this is my hypothesis. The academic course ends. A lot of students, a lot of teachers are using ChatGPT, and since we are in vacation, we don't use it right now. But my prediction is that in Spain and in the United States, by the middle of September, ChatGPT is going to go up, 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 because it's a tool that we use for education. So the industry has it clear. They say that the spend in AI is going to hit $1.3 trillion by 2032, which is a lot of money. So the investment is going to go up, 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 and revenue is going to be up, up, and everything is going to be fantastic. We don't need to believe it, but it's something that's here to stay, and we need to pay attention to it. It's not a fad. It's not going to that is going to go away. It's going to stay here, and we have to deal with it. Okay. So right now we have two GPT models. You can access ChatGPT via the free version of the website, where you have a lot of limitations. If the servers are overcharged, they have an overload of work, you will have to wait in the queue, or you will not be able to access it. And you're using the GPT 3.5 Turbo, which is the basic model. 2 years ago, GPT 3.5 would have been something like magic, something unimaginable in the state of the art. It's something incredible. But GPT-4, which you can access by paying a monthly fee to OpenAI, it's like 20 euros, not much, but it's money. If you have to pay it from your pocket, it's okay. It's more expensive than Netflix. But then you get access to GPT-4, and GPT-4 is a great model. It's more complex, it's more sophisticated, it gives you better answers, it's better at reasoning, it's better at, for example, at mathematical thinking, and is able to connect you to plugins like I demonstrated with Wolfram Alpha. This is really important because in the near future, or right now, we don't need to learn to use certain tools. For instance, Wolfram Alpha is a really complex tool. It's really useful, but it's difficult to use. You need to know how to use it. But GPT-4 knows how to use Wolfram Alpha, so I don't need to learn how to use Wolfram Alpha. I just ask what I need GPT-4, and GPT-4 is going to construct the queries and send the queries to Wolfram Alpha. I can then read the queries and verify that everything is okay, so I can trust these results. But my learning curve to access Wolfram Alpha is going to be more flat. I don't need to spend a lot of time reading manuals or watching videos and learning what can Wolfram Alpha do. For me, I just ask GPT-4, and GPT-4 can select the kind of tool that I need. It's going to connect, and it's going to act as the information. And this is going to be a trend in the next years. So for me, the main difference between ChatGPT 3.5 and GPT-4 is like buying a blister of ham in the supermarket, or buying a nice whole ham of Iberico and cutting it with your knife and making freshly cut slices of Iberico high quality ham. It's similar, but it's not the same. And if you can afford it, I suggest you use it. If you can afford it and you're going to take advantage of it, I suggest you use it. And I'm not affiliated with OpenAI in any way. Okay, now how these models work, and it's important to understand this to use them better. First of all, we have this raw model, GPT-3, for example, which is trained with an artificial intelligence algorithm, and they take a huge data set, a lot of data, the whole internet, billions of parameters, and in an expensive process that takes a lot of computation power and a lot of energy and a lot of time. They say that to train GPT-3, it was like $4 million just in the energy required to train the model, which is a lot of money and a lot of time. So not everybody can train these raw models. And then there's this more detailed process where you fine-tune the model to teach the model how to behave. And you adapt it to work, for instance, in a chat interface. And then is when the scientists that refine the model notice that when a model is refined, these models behave in a way that they can follow instructions. And this is something that they didn't expect. For instance, GPT-3, you told GPT-3 what is the capital of France, and it could answer what is the capital of Spain, what is the capital of England. If you wanted to know, you wanted GPT-3 to tell you that what is the capital of France, you should tell the capital of France is, and GPT-3 would continue the model saying is Paris, and it has this number of inhabitants and blah 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 blah. It would continue, but it would not answer questions or follow directions. But what we are learning is these large language models, after the fine-tuning process, they become more refined and they are able to follow instructions, which is a really surprising thing for everybody, and it's really useful. And then you ask GPT-4 or GPT-3, what is the capital of France? And you say, the capital of France is Paris. You're welcome. Okay, but this does not end here. When we use ChatGPT, we use ChatGPT by providing a prompt, and it provides an answer. But that's not the whole story. There's this context, is this session, is the conversation that you are having with ChatGPT. You have been having a conversation with ChatGPT, and the context and the session is fed to the model, so it can use the previous things that you have been talking to ChatGPT before to as a way to improve the model. So when you are prompting and you're having a long conversation with a lot of interactions in a session with ChatGPT, then you are training the model. You can provide it with information, you can provide it with examples, and it will remember it will remember the context of the conversation just with a person. You are talking about if you are talking about soccer, then it knows that you are talking about soccer. And for instance, you saying that you are outside, it will understand that you are referring to a rule in the soccer game, not that you are outside of a house. So when you have ChatGPT, all of these conversations, each conversation is a context, and you can feed information and you can feed context, and you are programming. It's like you are training a little bit your own ChatGPT with every information that you give it. We have to remember about the science, a great science in the 19th century. This science is called phrenology. Phrenology was a science. It was really wise people and professors talking about this science, but the idea of phrenology was that you could predict the character and psychological characteristics of a person by studying the bumps in the cranium of the person. It's completely bananas and pseudoscience, but in 19th century it was like this. What is happening right now with large language models is that we don't know what is going on in there. We only know, the scientists, the researchers and developers in AI, we know that we do things and these models behave in a certain way. And we get that sometimes they behave in a surprisingly amazing way, and sometimes they do what they call hallucinations. They just make up things and they are completely wrong. So we have to understand and be aware that every single time that any model, GPT-3, GPT-4, GPT-5, Google's Bard, anything provides with an answer, this answer can be wrong because it's not a deterministic science. These models behave in a statistical way, and sometimes they absolutely hallucinate. And if we want to use these models, we have to understand that sometimes they are going to get it wrong, and they are going to get it wrong in a spectacular way, and they can fool us. So we need to be aware of this so we can decide if we are going or not going to use for our lives and our work and our teaching, the responses that these models give us. So that's all for this video. We'll meet in another one.